Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So I had a couple homework questions. It's only a couple, but I was a little confused on. The
Sure.
first one's in, do you want me to just try to explain it to you?
Yeah, you can explain it to me. And if you can you tell me what number it was in the homework or what section?
Okay, okay. Well, so it was 1.1 number 7, and it's a graph, and it has a horizontal red line that's going through -9. Okay, I can't hear you. What happened? Um, Hold on. What's going on? Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened. Um, is there a mute button on yours?
Yes.
There we
Oh,
go.
can you hear me
Oh, okay.
now? Oh,
Yeah, I
that
can
must
hear you
have
now.
been it because I think I accidentally pressed it between my body and the table, and
Okay.
it accidentally pressed the mute button.
Well, that's good. Troubleshooting.
Yes, I will make sure
Okay.
this stays out of the way. And I'll use my phone
Um,
as like, there you go. Okay.
okay. So yeah, so it's a graph, and then there's a horizontal line that's going through -9.
Okay, cool. So we have a
And
horizontal line. This will be at -9. So does it look something like this?
yeah, and it just says it wants the equation.
The equation. Okay, cool. So remember that the equation of a line is always in the form of y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. For horizontal lines, your slope is always 0. So if we're plugging that in, you can almost replace your m with 0. Your x is still there, and your b is your y-intercept. Your b is, remember, y-intercept is wherever the graph, in this case, this green yellow line, passes the y-axis, which is at -9. So -9. If we were to simplify this, 0x, anything multiplied by 0 is 0 and goes away, so y equals -9. And that will be the equation for this line. Does that make sense?
It does, and it marked it right, so that's awesome.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So my next question, it's a similar one, but this time it has a vertical line at -2.
Okay, a vertical line at -2.
Okay.
Do you mind if I write on this side?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that cool? All right. And reason I'm doing that is just so you can compare the two because these are actually very similar questions. So I'm going to draw my graph, and this is number 8, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 8, I have my x and my y-axis, and you said a vertical line. Can you tell me again where it's passing through?
-2.
-2. So if we have -2 here, this time we have a vertical line. Vertical lines have an undefined slope. So if we have something that's an undefined slope, undefined is not the same as 0. So whenever we have an undefined slope, any vertical line is DNE. You want to type does not exist. So DNE is what iMath AS uses, and that should be the equation.
Is it for the equation or the slope? Because this one wants
The
me.
slope.
Okay. Well, this
Oh,
one was
I'm
asking for
sorry.
the
X
equation.
equals. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, you're correct. Yeah, if in this case it's asking for the equation, instead of typing in y equals like we normally do,
Okay.
we're actually going to type in x equals.
Okay.
because the line is on the x-axis. You see how in number 7 this line was crossing the y-axis?
Right.
For number 8, our line here, the green-yellow line, which represents our graph and our equation, is crossing the x-axis. So it's going to be x equals. And then the
Okay.
value, -2. If that's an easier way for
Okay.
you to think about it or see it, anything that's a vertical line or a horizontal line, look at which axis it's crossing and the value.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
for
and it
number
marked it.
7, yeah, number 7 would have been it's crossing the y at what value? -9, so y equals -9. Number 8, it's crossing the x-axis at what value? -2, so x equals -2.
Awesome.
Make sense? So don't
Okay.
use y
It
equals for
does.
this one.
Cool. All
Cool.
right. So the next one, yep. Let me open up.
So while
Just
you
got
get
two.
that ready, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, that works.
All right, cool.
Okay. Well, I found one of them. It was my last question, but we'll start with that one since I found it. Okay.
Sure. If
So
you
it says,
can you just really quick let me know the section and the number just so I can write it here in case anyone else
sure.
is watching.
Yeah, it's section 1.3,
Mhm.
and it's number 9.
Okay.
Okay. When you wrote number 9, though, it wasn't visible. Can you write the number 9 under 1.3?
Sure.
Awesome.
Thanks for letting me know. I think I
Yeah.
know the dimensions of this, but I might be a little bit off.
Okay.
And I have like this line a little out here.
Cool.
Okay, but I'll keep that in mind.
So
Mm.
this one's a word problem.
Okay.
And it says Superman needs to save Lois from the clutches of Lex Luthor. After flying for 10 seconds, he is 2,150 meters from her. Then at 15 seconds, he's 1,925 meters from her. And then it wants an equation. So I'm pretty sure we start off with an ordered pair
Yes.
for each.
And they actually give
Okay.
you the ordered pair within the word problem. Normally, they just give you an ordered pair, and in word problems, they give it to you somewhere in the problem. So, do you know what those 2 points are, or have an idea of what those 2 points
Well,
are?
the first one, 10 seconds, and then 2,150.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was 15 seconds, and then 1925.
Okay, and can you see that? Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So these are going to be the 2 points that we work with. What you want to do now is remember they're asking for it in an equation. So our final answer should look something like this, but at the very end when we get to it, you do have to change y and x for m and s, but that's not until later. So let's just work on trying to get the regular equation before we switch our variables. So how would I find slope? Because that would be our first step. If I were to label this almost, you want to find your slope first before your b value, your y-intercept. So because they give us 2 points, we can use this formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Okay.
And if I were to label my points, if I call this, let's say, point 1, and it doesn't matter, you can call this point 1 or this point 1, or this can be point 2 and this can be point 2, just be consistent with how you're labeling them. If I call this point 1, then this is the same thing as saying my x and my y, and here's an x and a y too. This will be x1, y1, x2, y2. Make sense?
That does make sense, yeah.
Now what we can do is just plug it in to our formula
Okay.
to find what m is. So if I'm looking for y2, this will be 1925, minus my y1, which is 2150, over x2 minus x1, so 15 minus 10. And you can plug that into a calculator if you'd like to get an answer for your slope.
Okay. I actually do have a calculator with me. Let me go ahead and
Cool. So let me know what
open
you
that
get
up.
after that.
So the top 1925 minus 2150, that's negative 225.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bottom was that 15 minus 10?
Yep.
So that's just 5.
Perfect. And can you simplify that? Negative 225 divided by 5?
Yeah, I get negative 45.
Okay, so we have our m being negative 45 when we simplify it.
Okay.
Now you have the option of plugging it into this formula right here, y equals mx plus b, or you can also use y minus y1. So y1 minus y minus y1 equals mx minus x1,
Okay.
if I
And that's the
recall
point
that
slope thing,
correctly.
right?
Yes, point slope.
Okay.
And for this one, what you want to do is y1 and x1 come from your points. And it doesn't matter. It could be this point or this point. You'll still get the same answer.
Okay. But then
Y,
since we labeled the first points X1, Y1, should we stick with those?
yeah,
Or could we
that's
stick with
perfect.
those? Yeah, just so it's easier for my
Yeah,
notes.
definitely. Yep, you can do that. So if we were to plug it in, y minus y1, we had 2,150 equals m. We found m to be negative 45. So negative 45. X minus our x1 is 10. So you see how we filled everything out and the only things we didn't were this y and this x? That's how it should be.
Right, okay.
Okay? And after we just simplify. So we can distribute the negative 45, y minus
Okay.
2,150 equals negative 45x. When we multiply this, negative 45 times negative 10, you can also do this on your calculator, or if you know negative and negative is positive, and then whenever you're multiplying by 10, you just add a 0 at the end of the value.
I think that's where I made the mistake earlier. I kept it negative. That's why it came
Yeah,
out
you want to be
funny.
careful. That tricks a lot of students. Just be careful in your calculations to just be consistent and watch out for the negatives because they will
Okay.
change your answer. And unfortunately, IMath AS will mark it wrong, completely wrong, and it can make you doubt yourself. But if you've at least gotten this far, that's really good.
Okay. And then I guess finally I have to move over the 2150.
Yes, so you add
Okay.
2,150 to both sides
Okay.
to isolate your y, and then it's just one last step before we get our answer.
Okay. So it's a positive 450 plus 2150.
Yes.
That's what I did wrong. And I
And
get 2600. Yeah.
yep.
Yep. And I typed it in and it marked it right. Awesome.
Actually, you should have marked it wrong.
Oh, what
Did
did
it
I get
really
wrong?
mark it right? Because
Yeah,
it shouldn't it be where you substitute y and x for m and
well,
s?
oh no, not on this one. There is one that comes after it though that is looking to do that.
Oh,
Um,
okay, cool. Then yes, this is the correct answer.
okay.
Okay, there is another problem though, where it will tell you to substitute y and x at the very end of your answer. And it can happen in word problems. And I thought it was a Superman one, but if it isn't, I mean, just to give like a quick example, if they told you to substitute it for meters and seconds, because if this was 10, if it told you in the word problem this is 10 seconds, this was measured in meters, 15 seconds, 1,925 meters, then this final answer could have been written where if you're y, we know this is an x and y. So if our y was supposed to be measured in meters, then it's the same thing, and our x was measured in seconds, and then plus 2600.
Okay.
Just know this will probably happen in at least one of your problems, most
You know what I
likely.
realized? It wasn't that it marked it. I hit the preview button and it said that it understood the syntax. You're right, because when I hit submit, it did mark it wrong. But now that I
Okay.
put in the M and the S, that it didn't. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, okay. So that's what that is, and that can happen in word problems. So just be careful. Make sure to read the directions of iMath AS because they tell you everything that they want in the directions. Just care not to rush to it a little too fast.
Okay.
Because some
And
people
actually, I
can get
realized.
to this part, but then forget they have to do this.
Okay. Yeah, I think I wouldn't have known to do the M and the S, so thank you for that.
You're
And
welcome.
actually, my fourth question, I realized I actually had the answer to. So that's actually it for my questions.
Yay, awesome. Well, thank you.
And when did you say you have in-person time too as well, right? On Thursday?
Yes, and those are on Thursdays from 2:45 to 5:45.
And that's in which room?
That's in the Math Depot. It's in Building 4. And if you know,
Okay.
basically, if you know where to go with the building with the cafeteria, that's Building 4, and then the Math Depot is on the other side of the cafeteria, first floor
Okay. Okay. And you said Thursday 2:45?
to 5:45.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you.